Welcome to Roots and Branches of Lehi, the podcast where we get to know the faces, stories, and lives that make up our community. I'm Ryan Harding, and I started this podcast as a way for us all to connect with the people we live alongside. Growing up in a small town, I learned that connections go beyond blood. They're built through shared experiences, friendships, and the moments we celebrate together. Each week, we'll sit down with someone new from Lehi to share their unique story, their passions, and what they love most about living here. So whether you've been here for years or just arrived, join us as we deepen our roots and reach out to our branches one story at a time. Welcome, Melanie Busath, to Roots and Branches of Lehi. Happy to have you here.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. This is awesome.
Yeah, like I said, you have to be Lehi famous here
That's
now, right?
That's right.
You know?
I'm so excited.
So good. Well, let's get to know you a little bit first, right? So tell me a little background. You grew up here in Lehi, or where are you from originally, and what brought you to Lehi?
All right. So I actually am from Midvale. I always tease I'm from the streets of Midvale.
I like it.
Yeah. I went to school. I was working at Desert Book and realized I really like doing events.
Okay.
So I did a communications major.
Sure.
I worked a couple other event jobs and realized I really wanted to get back to that community feel of events that I was doing. I was working at Maverick Center.
Okay. Sure.
Doing concerts.
Yeah. Well, that'd be fun.
Yeah, it was awesome. But I really loved community parts of events, and then this just kind of opened up, and it was so perfect. And I've been doing this for about 10 years now.
Okay.
So yeah.
And you said Midvale and stuff like that. So how long have you been in Lehi then, I guess?
Yeah, so basically since Lehi, or since 10 years.
10 years, okay.
Yeah, I kind of, one of my jobs was all over kind of traveling. So I mostly just kind of stayed close to my parents.
Okay.
And then
Yeah.
when this opened up, and now I live here, I love Lehi. I never thought I would live in Utah County, but now I can't see myself anywhere else.
You can't leave. Yeah, you're stuck here. You've been a part of it for a little while. Yeah,
Yes.
Good. Okay. Well, talk to us about events and stuff like that. Then tell us what you do then, I guess, for the city.
So I'm the city events manager.
Okay.
Basically, what that means is that I do kind of all of our bigger events. We have all sorts of events, like with Legacy Center, Library, but the ones I focus on more are like our Easter egg hunt.
Okay.
We do a big Summer Splash concert, our Santa parade, and then of course Lehi Roundup's kind of my big one.
Sure. Okay.
So those are kind of some.
And you've been doing it for about 10 years now,
Yes.
and stuff like that. So were those already in place when you started, like those events, and you just kind of expanded on them, or did you start any of those?
So some of them I didn't officially. I started some, or we've kind of changed. Like our Easter egg hunt had just started the year before, so that's really grown and progressed since I started. We've changed the way we do it.
Sure.
We also added the Summer Splash Parties concert.
Okay.
And that one I started.
Yeah.
So, and that one's one of my favorites. We get a big one.
Yeah.
I love that one. So yeah. So I've definitely added events. Some were kind of just starting when I started. So yeah.
Sure. Well, so let's go into some of those events, because I'm not sure, like the Splash one, for example, I don't know what that, so tell me about that. Like, what do we do for that?
So this one is so fun. I loved it. We started it up at Ivory Ridge Splash Park, splash pad area.
Yeah.
We've kind of changed it, and we've moved it over to Family Park Amphitheater this year, since we have that new nice amphitheater.
Yeah.
And so we've made it more of a concert type venue. We had Matt Hansen, who I actually didn't know, but our youth council was very excited.
Sure.
So he's awesome. He's kind of a Benson Boone type.
Yeah, okay, sure.
And we had him come and do this awesome concert.
Yeah.
We had food trucks. We do fireworks afterwards.
Okay.
So it's kind of for the 24th of July celebration, just a little extra fun activity to do during the summer. I've always done Foam Day, but Foam Day was so dependent on water that we didn't always get to do it. So I was like, I want to do something all the time, and then when we can do Foam Day, we'll figure that out. So yeah.
And are these events typically free? Like
yes,
they're provided by the city, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's what I love. Most of our events are free. We very rarely charge. I don't think we've ever, at least for my events, charged more than like $5 for events. We want to keep it kind of low for those families that want to come.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. And so tell me about some of the other ones. Obviously, so Roundup, everybody probably knows about that one, so I'll let you skip that one. But, but tell me about some of the other events that we have in the city.
Okay. Some we do some outdoor movie nights.
Okay.
Everyone does outdoor movie nights, so we try to do them a little bit differently. We have one, it's a drive-in movie night where the kids can make their own cars and kind of watch a drive-in. So we've done it with in the theme with cars. We've done the last 3 movies the last 3 years, so we'll probably change it up this year a little bit, or next year. We do a Harry Potter movie night. We do all sorts of booths, and we do butterbeer and just a big party, and then we'll watch Harry Potter. We've done that in different movie. We've kind of done it every year as part of the movie. So we have those. We do our Santa Parade, which we're starting to get gearing up for Santa Parade, which I love. It's probably one of my favorites. It's just...
And where's that at? What do they do?
So that will be along Main Street. Okay. This year's going to be a little bit different because we have our new City Hall. Yeah. And so I'm hoping, and it sounds like everything hopefully will go well, that we can do that at least outside of there. Yeah. And kind of change it up a little bit. We have reindeer coming, vendors. Wow. So we'll do it all on Main Street, and it will end at the new City Hall. It starts at Lehi High School. Okay. And it goes through there, and then we'll have pictures of Santa, and it's just a good time. We usually do cookies and hot chocolate for everyone, and try to have a few activities. So.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I love it.
And so this year, you're thinking using the City Hall in some degree. Okay.
Yeah, and I'm hoping to make it kind of a little bit bigger because now we have a little bit bigger space. Before we do it at the Literacy Center, and it was a little bit smaller, so we couldn't do too much. So I'm excited to kind of expand it and get more people involved.
Okay. And do you have so how do people if I want to go, resident of Lehi, how do I even find out about this as far as that kind of stuff, I guess?
So the first option is always our website. Okay. They're always on our city calendar, our website. I always put them on Facebook immediately. So that's kind of how our communications team works is when I have a new event, I'll make a Facebook event group, and then they take it and disperse it to any other places. So I can tell you 100% it will always be on that Facebook event page. But
and what's the name of the Facebook page then?
It's Lehi City. So it's just Lehi City Facebook. Okay. And then our Lehi-ut.gov is our website. And those 2 places, it's almost always going to be there.
Okay. So, and as far as the city provides all the stuff. You said it's very little price sometimes. Do you have vendors? What if I'm a business and I want to sponsor that? Is that how do I go about sponsoring?
So we do sponsorships. Okay. Our biggest one is obviously Roundup, so that one's kind of always a little bit different. And then with the smaller events, we kind of tailor it more to the smaller event and what they would like to be a part of, whether they want to be there or just donate. So it's more just coming and talking to me, and we'll come up with that.
Yeah, sure. So. Okay. I just know we so we're a mortgage company, right?
Yeah.
And so we rented out the park last year at, Wines Park and had a band there and stuff like that. So, not probably nearly as good as your events, but so we do those kind of things. But it's nice that you also have some of these other ones, and so maybe something we piggyback, I guess, sometimes.
Yeah, for sure. We love it. So, I'm all for, I feel like some of them, because they're bigger, we have to have certain structures and requirements, but I'm all for having Lehi businesses be a part of it. It's their community too, and they want to be a part of it. So if I can ever work it out and have them be there, I'm all for it.
Good for that. Okay.
So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So talking about go back in time a little bit to your first event, I guess. What was that? Was it a little overwhelming at first, or talk to us about just kind of the day in day out of your job per se, I guess.
So I've been doing events before I started working here. So the actual planning of events wasn't too nervous, but there was this whole other layer of the city council being there, of residents, and my first event was we don't do it anymore because the man who started it moved, and he was kind of over it, but it was the Bridge with Honor. It was over he would go and salute on the bridge, and people really loved it and wanted to be a part of it. Oh, sure. So on Veterans Day, we kind of did this with him, and it was really cool. He would take the kids around and kind of explain that to them, and then he would introduce them to another veteran, and it was really awesome. But I had been doing 5K fun runs or concerts, so in that sense, it was really a nerve-wracking thing, but I loved it because I like I said, I just really love that sense of community, and it was so cool to see these kids from the elementary school come and then have city council there, and just it was such a cool feeling of just this is a cool sense of community. Any other events stand out? You've been doing it for 10 years. Anyone where I'm guessing there's a lot of hey, every year it's same same deal, right?
But any of them stand out to you as far as like, hey, this was especially meaningful, or?
Yeah, the one I really love, and I'm kind of the one who changed it to this, is on Roundup. We have our Monday night concert.
Okay.
And it's always been like a picnic in the park or concert, but I kind of, coming from Maverick Center concerts, I wanted it to be like a concert.
Like an actual concert. Sure.
Yeah, so I kind of changed that a little bit. And now it's probably one of my favorite things. We had, like, Ned Ledoux came.
Yeah.
And what was so cool with Ned is that he loved it so much that when COVID happened, I said, hey, could you do a message for the residents? Yeah. And, how much would that cost? And he said, hey, we love Lehi. We'll do it for free. We'll send you a video. Because
that's awesome.
He just loved being here so much and that vibe. And so that concert always is such a joy to me, because most concerts come thinking it's going to be like a serious concert, and they realize how quickly Lehi just like gloms onto them and makes them an honorary resident. And they almost every time it's like this, I can't believe it. Like they love it. Drew Baldridge loved Lehi. Like it's just such a special thing for them, and I love being a part of that.
Sure. And was the correct me if I'm wrong, but was this the first year then we did it at the family park then? Okay.
Yes, and that I was so actually nervous for that, because Drew was awesome, and he did a lot of marketing on his end too. So I was like, I think we're good, but this is our first time doing it. I don't 100% know, what it will be like. A lot of people were a little worried about not doing it at Wines Park.
I'd heard that, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I heard some of the city. I think we had Jared Peterson on or something, and he was, or maybe it was somebody else, I forget who, but they were talking about that, like, hey, we were a little nervous about it being somewhere else, but then they also said, like, it got a whole different crowd, which was good.
It was awesome. Yeah, and people would come it was funny, people would come and put their blankets and come over to us and be like, we're very upset this is at Wines Park. And I was like, oh, no, I'm sorry. But when they left, so many people said, I take it back. This was wonderful. Like, this was great. So I think it did give a whole new vibe.
Yeah.
And I loved it. And I think Drew was the perfect person to have, because he also brought it. He worked so hard to make it such a fun concert. So I loved it.
That's the scary thing about some of those things, right? Is you think it could be better, and so you're trying to do it, but tradition's hard. Like, Lehi's been around for a while, and we get I think human beings tend to do that, right? We get stuck in our ways, right? It's like, well, it's always been this way, let's all keep it going. But good for you for trying something new.
Yeah, and it's hard because I love like the old Lehi vibe. I work with so many of them that pour so much into this community. Yes. So I want to be so respectful of that, but I also have to kind of plan for everyone, and sometimes that makes it so tricky to kind of keep that. But I try my hardest to keep everything as much as I can as traditional as possible.
Yeah.
So
no, I think from what I heard, and I didn't attend that, but from what I heard, it was very good.
Oh, good.
And it was a good change, I think.
Yes, I hope so.
Because you can have so many more people at that park, right?
Yes.
I mean, do you know numbers wise, like,
you can. We're still kind of learning that as we go. The nice thing about it, which Wines Park, I think, is a little bit bigger area-wise, but there's so many trees and things in the way that this actually is, we're able to get more people to see the concert.
Sure, okay, because you don't have the trees. Sure.
Yeah, so it makes it a little easier.
Okay. And parking maybe too?
Yeah, parking's a little easier.
Yeah, a little bit. Okay. So, I mean, have you always loved planning and organizing? Has this always been something? I mean, you mentioned the Maverick Center and stuff like that, but just...
Sure. So not until I was going to be a teacher.
Okay.
At first I was like, I don't want to just sit at a desk. But then I realized I don't really love the structure of school. Like, I'm someone who likes to just be around. And so I thought, well, maybe I could do high school kids. They're more, fun. I could try that.
Sure.
And it just wasn't fitting. And then when I started at Desert Book, I was kind of in this little limbo of, do I keep doing teaching? I had transferred to Utah State to go to the U.
Okay.
And then I started doing just like the little book signings, and I was like, hey, this is actually kind of fun. I enjoy doing this. Yeah. And then we helped out at an event called Time Out for Women. Okay. And I thought, oh, this is what I'm going to do. I actually interviewed for a job as I was graduating, thinking that was going to be my start. And then the day of graduation, they said, oh, do you know what, we decided we're not going to hire. We're not going to do it. And so I was like, I don't know what to do.
Sure, yeah.
So it kind of went into this. I found this job with this 5K fun run, and it looked I didn't even know if it was a real job at first. It was in the back of someone's like garage, and I was like, I'm gonna trust it. And then I realized like I adore this. Like this is 100% what I want to be doing.
Yeah.
So
good.
Yeah.
And so you've been doing it ever since.
Yeah.
And from a somebody looking to go into that thing, I'm guessing is it a normal 9-to-5 job in that regard? I mean, because you got different events.
Sure.
Tell me the hours and different things like that. What's if somebody wants to go into that, or is it just you per event?
Yeah, it's kind of like during the week, it's a normal 9-to-5 when I don't have events.
Yeah.
I just I'm planning, I'm emailing people.
Sure.
I'm lucky. I also get to do some other things. I work with the Youth Council, and we do things with them. So I'm working just normal 9-to-5 during the week. When we have events, it changes,
Yeah, I'm guessing later nights.
Later nights, Or they're really good about, so I might not work like a Tuesday because I'm going to work all day Saturday or something.
Okay.
So you definitely are never working a fully normal schedule doing events. But usually, and here is so great because I'm kind of funny. I'm this weird little arm in the city that's not a city worker in the same sense. So. So I get to kind of be normal, but also a little different with events. But
because it is a city position then.
Yes.
Okay, so it is a city position, but
Yeah. So when I was doing other events, it was like all the time working, like because you're just constantly doing events. But here I just feel so lucky to work here because it is part of that city arm. So it's a little bit different on that.
And so you mentioned some of the other work you do with the Youth Council. Is that part of that job, or is that just on your side? You just wanting to do that?
So I work with Sherry Benson.
Okay.
She is our she's the administrative assistant for Mayor Johnson.
Okay.
She and Tisha Tisha Wilson, who's our city recorder, they were doing Youth Council. Tisha decided as she kind of moved to city recorder position, she didn't want to be over as much. So Sherry took over, and I've been helping her. Okay. And we've just kind of grown it into this awesome thing that it is right now. Sure. So I love doing the Youth Council. It's probably one of my favorite parts of my job. And
so, but it sounds like it was something more that you kind of created then, I guess, a little bit.
Yeah, Sherry and I, Tisha created it. I'll give her that credit of all that. She's awesome. We took it and said, hey, we kind of want to do things a little bit differently, and have created it. We kind of, and because we've grown, it has grown so much. So we have so many kids, and so we had to kind of adapt with that. Yeah. And it's just a blast. We do so much with them, and they're so helpful.
And so what is that Lehi Youth Council?
Sure. So the Lehi Youth Council, we have probably right now signed up about 70 kids. We have probably about 30-ish that come up like consistently every week. It kind of changes depending on their schedule. Yeah. We have 2 meetings that are more focused on either city government or something to help them, whether they want to do a service project or get to know each other. Okay. They help. This year we kind of changed it where they really planned those events. We had a few like meeting with our city manager or our finance to teach them about city government. Okay. The rest was all what they wanted to do. Okay. And we meet about twice a month. They also come to my events and help serve there. So they're always willing to come out, and they help serve. They have barbecue. They did all the serving at Roundup. They serve the cookies at Santa Parade. So they're out there just helping out.
Just free labor, just these kids that are just wanting to like help.
They're just awesome kids who come out and are a part of the community.
And so it's just a volunteer effort that they're doing and stuff.
And we kind of have different ways set up, whether they want to be more involved, then we have some incentives to help, or if they just can come once or twice a month, we're great with that too, whatever they're willing to do. And
if somebody, if I have a youth that wants to be a part of this, how would they even go about it?
Sure. So we have registration from August to September officially to get kids in, because we start then. From that point on, then we just ask that they email Lehi Youth Council to get the link to sign up, just so we make sure that they have all the information they need, and they don't just sign up when we aren't aware of it. Sure. So from right now, all they need to do is just email and say they're interested in being a part of it, and anyone can join. We'll let them join regardless, whether it's June or August. So they'll just sign up and come be a part of it.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's awesome. You probably already answered this, I guess, but what do you love most about working with the people of Lehi?
I think what's so cool about working at Lehi, and I didn't ever feel this growing up, so I love that Lehi has this, is how many people are so wanting to help and be a part of the community. Like, my job is so special in that I do get to work with the Youth Council, but I also get to work with Lehi Arts, Miss Lehi Historical Society. So I get to really see the hard work of all the community members and what they want to bring to Lehi and what they want to make Lehi, and I love that part of it.
Yeah. And is that unique to Lehi, or is that just, hey, with your job, obviously you're more in it, right? And so maybe it existed in Midvale, you just weren't part of it.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think? I mean,
I think so. I meet with a lot of the other event coordinators in the cities. I think they have their people that are involved, but I do think that Lehi is very unique in that we have a lot of people who want to be involved and are just here, and they just love the community. Like, I think that's, like, I know there's other cities that are trying to mimic that to some extent, trying to remind them, like, hey, we're your hometown, come to Lehi type.
Yeah, exactly.
So I do think it is somewhat unique to Lehi. I think everyone has residents that, love their cities.
Sure, of course.
But just the sheer amount of, even our rodeo, I mean, it's so cool that that's run so much by just residents wanting to help.
Yeah.
Like, it's a really unique situation, I think.
Yeah.
So.
No, there's a lot of labor, man hours doing that, right? People working and doing that stuff.
Yes. And one thing I noticed with our rodeo, so I didn't know this because I work with them, but they're a separate committee, which you probably know because Jared. But I one time, because Tisha and her husband are on the committee, I mentioned that another rodeo was more expensive, and I said, how come ours are so cheap? Why are our tickets so cheap? And she said, it's because we want to keep it cheap. We use all our, residents are willing to help, so we don't have to pay for residents. We don't have to pay for all the things that other cities do. And I think that just made me realize really, truly how unique Lehi is. We do all the rodeo is just service, and miniature parade is just service.
It really is, There's
so
nobody
much.
getting rich off these things, right? I mean, the city itself is not, it's just wanting to provide that
extra experience, just a feeling of community. And I think that's what's so cool, and that's cool that we're able to provide those things just because people want to be a part of it.
Yeah. And again, props to everybody that's put in all that time. Because there's a lot of people that have worked on that for a long time. Going back to a lot of the events that you've done and stuff like that, why do you think, why does the city continue to put money into, a Santa, parade or the concerts and stuff like that? Why should a city do that? Why is that important? I mean, is there any monetary benefit to it? Why do we do that?
I think it really goes to quality of life. I think council, I know council feels at least they love the events. And I know for everyone, I think that all of our streets department parks, it's kind of, I always tease them that I'm this nuisance because they have their real jobs and then they have to help me. But I think they love doing it because we all know that it's something we can give to the residents that's just pure fun. There's a lot of going on in Lehi. There's a lot of growth. There's traffic. There's all these things that are just naturally happening as we grow. And I think that's why our events are so important, because they do remind us that at the end of the day, we're all neighbors and a community and living together. We're all fighting the same fight together, whether it's our council or our residents, all of us are here and wanting the best city we can. And I think that's how events do it. It's really that camaraderie of, hey, we're all here together.
Sure. No, I love that. I think you're right. And I asked the question, and I do believe the answer is a positive. I mean, I very much a fan of these events and stuff like that. Are there any events, so you've been doing this for a little while and stuff like that. Are there any events that you're like, hey, it'd be fun to do this or that? Or, do you have any kind of, there's certain times of year where okay, there's a little gap right here. Maybe if we did this. I don't know.
I have so many events I'd love to bring. I try to be super aware because it's budget of the residents' money and not just bringing all the events I want. But one I really would love to do at some point, and I actually had asked for it, and it was something that was going to go forward, and then COVID happened, and then we had other needs come up, and I just haven't yet. But I'd really love to do more of a cultural experience. I think that we have grown in diversity, and I think it would be fun to celebrate that a little bit more. So that's one I really am hoping at some point to bring. We have our new community center opening in City Hall. So I'm hoping to bring a whole new slew of events that way too, of just kind of letting people know this is here and for use. So.
And so let's talk about that for a second then. What do you think, Because well, and actually explain what's going into the city hall, I guess,
Sure.
for those that don't know. So, I mean, is there space for things like this?
Yeah,
or,
so it's a pretty awesome building. I'm super excited, and I'm excited too because just even upstairs where our admin sits, we've been like, we have some new part-time. They have to like come in on separate days. Like there's not room for everybody.
Sure,
so I'm
sure.
super excited just to all of us have some space and not sitting on top of each other. But
Sure. Just from a logistical standpoint.
Just the logistical, I'm very excited.
Sure.
But on top of that, we have the library gets this beautiful new area, and they have an awesome programs room, but we get a community room as well, which I am stoked about. Like, it's so nice. It's bigger than the Broadbent room, which is over at the police department. I'm not sure how much bigger, but I know it's that. It has like a kitchen. Heather Knoll, I think, and told us on Facebook that there's someone's donating a piano. I don't know quite with that, but
nice.
I think that will be awesome.
Sure.
So I just think it's going to be just a beautiful, nice place for residents. It's going to be nice. You know, we had our Harry Potter event was supposed to be Saturday and the rain happened and we had to cancel because I just didn't have anywhere to put it.
Sure.
So from that standpoint, it's so nice to have something where we will have something to be able to bring stuff indoors and do maybe a little bit more during those winter months when it's a little harder to plan an event.
Yeah. And we also have there's a hall like where weddings and stuff like that. I guess that's different though.
No,
but,
that's
I mean,
that.
but that's what you're talking about. That's
I'm hoping that we'll be able to we're looking at some of that right now as it's getting finished, how I want to, not me, but everyone wants to kind of bring that to it, whether weddings, like how do we offer that so they can have them there.
Sure.
We've looked, I know Broadbent Room has had a few weddings and things, but making it a little bit nicer, keeping it kind of that, whatever access to the residents, how we can. So it's still so new. It's all kind of what council decides they want to do for it.
Fair enough.
But that's my hope, is that we're able to kind of offer some of that stuff to residents.
Okay. Awesome. You know, so Lehi's obviously experienced a lot of growth over the last 10 years for you, right? Have you seen an increase in attendance at these things? You know, does the city, you mentioned budget and stuff like that. Do we budget a little bit more because we're getting more people? We have more residents now. Tell me about, like, just from that logistical standpoint.
Yes, so we definitely, I feel like especially in the last like 2 or 3 years, it's starting to feel like, we have a lot of residents. Yeah, so the council and everyone is so good about making sure everyone's safe and doing well. I haven't asked for a ton more in the budget because, like I said, we're still trying to be very aware of residents' money.
Sure.
And so just trying to come up with a little bit more creative ways or maybe see about having more sponsorships, things like that.
Sure.
But that has been kind of our challenge of trying to figure out how do we keep the same caliber or grow it when we're also just growing and natural with residents. But that has been probably as far as logistics, our biggest thing. But I think we're doing good. Our businesses step up when we need a little bit extra help, or we've been able to kind of, like, we had a daddy-daughter dance or kind of a dance on Valentine's Day.
Okay.
And it was one that we were like, we would love to bring this to residents, but we don't know if we have enough money. So we did charge $5 and just did a sign up. And people were here for it. It was fantastic.
Sure.
So I think that's kind of, if we do charge, that's really wise, because we're like, hey, we think this will be a fun event, but we're trying to figure out how to bring this to you.
Sure.
So,
and $5, a lot of people can afford. I mean, it's
that's what we're hoping.
Sometimes the benefit of sometimes charging for things is it makes people maybe appreciate it a little bit more. Sometimes when it's free, it's like, they don't value it as much, right?
And that's what we saw even with like the dance, is that I think people, it was a cute, like, whether it was grandpas or grandmas bringing their daughters, like it was a date night and they paid for it, and it was so cute and fun, and I loved it. So I definitely think that will be something, is one way we'll try to bring some more events, but I'm hoping that we can also just be creative so we don't have to do too much with that as well.
Sure. Okay. Well, that makes sense. Anything about your job that people might be surprised to learn? Anything that you're like, that's surprising, I guess.
Let me think. I think with budget and everything is just like, one is how long it takes to plan something. Yeah. And two, the cost of things sometimes. Sure. I think some people are like, why don't they just add this or that? And it's really like, because I'm out of money. Like, I'm going to spend all the money I can on this event. Sure. So I think sometimes people, it's like, and I I get it too. Like in your normal life, things are costing maybe hundreds, but like when it comes to like thousands and stuff, it starts to be like,
Yes.
So I think that surprises people sometimes.
Sure.
Like that's the question I get the most is how much did this cost or how much is this?
Sure.
And then even like Roundup, I mean, we start planning for Roundup in January, February, so I think just the sheer amount of volume for some of those bigger events.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. No, love that. I guess, so there's a personal question for you.
Sure.
You know, so what does it mean to you personally to be part of, you know, preserving Lehi's heritage?
Sure.
You know, like how do you like being part of, because you're part of that, bringing the community together, right? And stuff.
Sure.
So.
I love that. So like I said, I'm from Midvale, but I feel like I've really kind of been able to grow up in Lehi a little bit.
Yeah.
I didn't start here until I was almost like 30, but it really was when I started like settling down. I've gotten married since I've been here. We bought a home. Like I feel like Lehi is my home. Sure. And one thing I have been able to see, like, you know, honorees from Heritage Day or all these people that have worked so hard to make this. And I love that I get to work besides kind of that newer generation of people also coming in, like, you know, like Kate Daly or Miss Lehi's who care so much to see that. And I like that I'm able to be a part of that. Sure. And I always tease like, oh, well, it's my job. It's different for you guys. And it is to some extent, but even if it's me giving them the resources to do that, I love that. Like I really have loved watching Lehi grow and overcome some of these challenges of this growth, like to allow everyone to feel like they're a part of it. Like I'm so grateful that Lehi and all of its residents let me be a part of this community because I've never felt that before, and I love that about Lehi. Sure. And so I'm grateful to kind of be at least behind the scenes trying to help others. Yeah. You know, have that same feeling. Yeah.
So. They've been very welcoming to you, even though you're, you know, technically from Salt Lake County, right? You're good. Well, hey, I'm from North Dakota myself, so I did not grow up here either. So you get it. Yeah, I get it. We've been here now, like, I don't know, 25 years, you know, so a good amount of years. But yes, no, I didn't grow up here either.
Oh, yeah,
so,
good. Okay,
you know,
good.
So, don't worry. But I think that's what's nice about a community is, hey, you know, we just welcome each other and it's just good people trying to make life better for everyone, right?
And I've really seen that about Lehi, and I think even though sometimes we get into like this old Lehian traditions, when it comes right down to it, everyone is so welcoming and wants, you know, everyone to be a part of it, and I love that. Yeah, no, agreed. You know, here's a fun question for you, I guess, but if you had unlimited resources, you know, tell me what one project you'd like to work on here in Lehi. I think what I would really love to do is when we talked to the youth council one time, we asked them what were they facing, like what challenges was Lehi facing? Yeah. And you would think, you know, all the adults would say like streets, traffic, you know, growth. Sure. And they all said bullying. Really? And I was so surprised. Yeah. And I thought, oh, so if I had the money, and I'm still trying to figure out how to make this work, so hopefully one day I'd want to do like a hope concert or something for the teens, just like someone big that would resonate with them and help them to see, like, to also get that camaraderie that I think we're trying to build within the residents. But that would be my biggest one, like a Post Malone or someone big enough to kind
really
of help them,
crowd,
to draw them, but to get it, somehow make it for our teens first, to get tickets somehow. Like that would take endless money to figure that out. But that's my goal, is to somehow do that for the teens. That's my big one. Okay, love that. Any other things that any initiatives or things that you feel like the city should start doing, or, you know, as far as events? Yeah, as far as events. Oh, I have so many. We want to do a Mother's Day one. I think that would be fun. Yeah. Just a little bit smaller on that end. We're trying to figure out the best way to bring like Foam Day back, because that one's tricky. So we're hoping to do that. We have our outdoor movies. I'd like to add more. Yeah. Just anything more Christmas stuff. I would love to do more Christmas. Yeah, I have lots of stuff. You know, here's an idea too. You could do like some kind of scavenger hunt with the markers they have now too. You know, I've thought about that. Like, you know, that'd be kind of a fun. You know, it's funny that you said that, because that was actually one of the youth council wanted to do a scavenger hunt with and so we're doing an internal one with them, but maybe I'll see if I can bring that on. Maybe that's a good idea. Like something that, like, because if it was set up,
I'm just thinking like maybe a youth group would just do it on their own.
Yeah.
But they would have, that way they get to know Lehi.
It's a good idea.
Having like different things that kind of go with it, I think.
Yeah, because those historical markers are so cool.
They are super cool.
I think that would be a really good one.
Yeah. And I think it would just be going around the town and finding, okay, where's this one at? And okay, why is this important? And, and then, I don't know if the city does little prizes or they fill it out or something like that. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's a good idea. I love it. Look at you.
Look at me. Yeah, that's right. That was all on the spot. So, if you heard it first here, right? So this is it, right? So, but no, I think that I like what you're doing. In fact, I love what you're doing. I think, all these things do add up, right? And that's what I think does bring a community together. And I think we're seeing the fruits of this. You mentioned Lehi Roundup of over years, right? Of people, dedicating their time and doing this just, time after time. And so now us new people, relatively new, I guess you and me, right? That come in, it's like, okay, hey, let's just build off the shoulders of what has already been happened. I mean, they already laid the groundwork. We're just trying to make things better and because that's what we all try to do, right? Let's just keep making it better. So, and keep it going on and stuff. But,
and keep those traditions, but kind of adapt them to as we grow.
Yes, exactly. So, no, love
I'm here for it.
Anything we haven't covered that you'd want people to know about?
No, I think this has been great. I love getting here, being able to talk to you about events. Yes. I'm always down for it. So.
Yeah, good. Yeah. Well, I guess, kind of in closing, any message you would share with the people of Lehi, about events or different things like that, any kind of just closing thoughts?
I think that the best thing with events and try to remember is that they really are for all of our residents, and I try to remind people this, especially during Roundup, like, it gets crazy. You're trying to park, like, nothing that's happening is worth making someone else's day poor because you had a hard time. The point is to bring us together. So try to be more aware as we're doing events, of other people, but also try to get to know them. But just, my family would say no hassles, like just come and enjoy and just get to know each other. That's the key, and try to help each other out, not, during those times. That's really what they're for, is to get to know each other.
And I think people that tend to be a part of those events do feel more part of the community, which is, if we sit at home and just watch TV, this community doesn't do anything. Well, you're not doing anything, right? You're isolating yourself. And so I think it's good to be part of the group.
Yeah, please, everyone is invited. I think that's hard. Sometimes people will be like, I didn't know about Roundup. I'll be like, we sent a magazine to every resident.
We send out a lot of stuff on
this. So it makes me sad because I'm like, you're invited. We want you there. So I will try my hardest to get the word out as best I can, but please come and know that you're invited. Check the website, check the Facebook, and just come. We would love to see anyone there.
How many events a year do we do, roughly?
We do at least 20, I believe. So there's one page that has all of them, but each month we'll get, more information. So if you're looking, hey, I want to do something fun this month, just come look and come. You're invited.
Okay, awesome. Okay. Well, thank you. Thanks for coming on.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for all you're doing, for the city. I think doing a lot of good. So.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So, okay.
Awesome.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us on Roots and Branches of Lehi. I hope today's story helped you feel a little more connected to the people who make up our community. Remember, every person here has a unique story, and together, we're what makes Lehi feel like home. If you know someone who would be a great fit for this podcast, please fill out the form in the show notes so we can reach out and schedule an interview. We'd love to hear from you. A big thank you to our sponsors, the Work Harding Home Mortgage Team and Play Harding Nightly Vacation Rentals, for supporting this show and helping us bring our community closer together. Until next time, keep growing those roots and reaching out to your branches. Take care.